We've got another chair-based yoga session. We're going to be starting with our warm-up, working on a bit of weighted work for the arms, warming up our legs, and then working on a standing sequence, working through some nice deep poses today. So it's just quite good for us sometimes to slow things down a little bit, refocus on technique, and also see if we can just take the time to deepen some of those stretches. So that's going to be our focus today. You don't need any extra kit from you. Just making sure if you want to use weights that you've got those to hand. If you don't have any dumbbells or anything like that at home, just a couple of cans is just enough weight just to give those arms a bit of a workout. You can of course do this without weights as well, that's absolutely fine. Other than that, you just need yourselves, a chair, and just make sure you have got some water to hand, and please stop and take water breaks whenever you need to. Okay, so I think let's get started, and if there are any latecomers, then they can just join in during the warm-up. So starting sitting on our chairs, bringing your bottom forwards, lengthening through the spine, bringing the back off the backrest of the chair, thinking about letting the shoulders roll down the back, drawing them away from the ears, and just relaxing the hands in the back to begin with. Just taking a moment to focus on this posture and how it feels in the body to sit up tall. Often we end up slouching or kind of sitting off to one side, leaning in a hip or through an elbow. So it's really good just to take a moment to align the body, sit tall, take some of that pressure off the spine, allowing those vertebrae to stretch out a little bit up through the back, growing out through the top of the head. And this lovely tall posture also creates a little bit more space for our lungs to expand. So it's a really good thing to do if you just want to take some deep breaths at any point in your day, just to make sure that you're starting with this lovely posture, creating lots of space in the lungs to take some big deep breaths. And that's what we're going to do today. So with 3 big deep breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth, just seeing if we can bring our attention back to the body, focus on us and what we're about to do. Okay, so big deep breath in through the nose, sitting tall, breathing all the way down to the bottom of the lungs, breathing in, and then breathing out through the mouth, nice and slow and controlled. And again, a big deep breath in through the mouth. Seeing if you can just lengthen that breath a little bit this time. Take that breath a little bit deeper. And then breathing out, nice and slow and controlled. And last time, big deep breath in, sitting up tall. Seeing if we can take that breath a little bit deeper. And then breathing out through the mouth. Nice and slow and controlled, all the way out, out, out. And then just allowing the breath to relax, but keeping the posture, so not letting ourselves slouch, keeping the back nice and long as we just relax the breath and let it flow in and out. And as we take a few rounds of breath here, I just want you to take a moment just to check in with your body and see how you're feeling today. How have you come to the session? Have you got any tight spots, any aches or pains? How are you feeling physically? Have you got lots of energy today? Or perhaps your body's feeling a little bit tired. Just check in with yourself and notice how you're feeling in your body today. And then take your attention to your mind. And do the same, just check in with yourself and see how are you feeling today. Have you come to the session with your mind buzzing, or are you feeling a little bit calmer? Just take a moment to notice. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just really good sometimes for us to check in with ourselves, notice how we're feeling, and once we've recognized that, it can really help. If we are feeling possibly a little bit anxious, maybe we've been rushing around a lot. Just taking a moment to check in and recognize that can help to begin to release some of those feelings. Okay. And then from here, we're just going to start to warm the body up. So taking the head over to one side, drawing the ear towards the shoulder, and then rolling the chin to the chest, and bringing the head up the other side. Taking some nice gentle half circles with the neck. Be nice and gentle with the body to begin with. You might notice as you roll over to one side, you can feel some tightness in the neck, possibly running into the shoulders. So just take it nice and slow. And after a few easy rolls, maybe just take a moment to pause anywhere where it feels a bit tight. And take a breath there. And allow that breath to help you relax into the stretch. Let's do one more on each side. And then bringing the head back to the middle and working into the shoulders. Starting with a shoulder shrug and then rolling the shoulders forwards, down, back and up. Big, juicy circles. Keep it going round. Keep that posture nice and tall. See if you can keep those circles as big as possible. You might notice a little bit of clicking and cracking in the shoulders here. Absolutely normal, just as long as nothing is painful. If you find any movements cause any sort of sharp pain, then please do stop. We shouldn't be causing any pain to the body. Things can feel tight and achy, and our poses can feel challenging and maybe a bit burny, a bit tingly, but nothing that should feel sharp and painful. And then swapping directions, so this time going up, back, down and forwards. And as you roll the shoulders back, just notice the opening of the chest and take a moment to enjoy that slight stretch across the front of the chest as you roll the shoulders back. Lovely. One more roll in this direction and then bringing the shoulders down. And then from here, taking the arms out to the side at shoulder height, bringing the hands and touching them to the shoulders, just taking a few gentle twists in the torso. So twisting from side to side. Taking the head with you, trying to keep the legs and the hips nice and still. So we're just working through the torso. And then nice and gently slowing that back down and bringing the body back to the middle, releasing the arms and taking this into a side stretch. So reaching one arm all the way up and a little stretch over to the side and then swapping sides. Keeping it a little bit dynamic to begin with. So we're just warming up those muscles, getting them moving before we deepen that stretch. You can hold on to the side of the chair for a little bit of support here if you need to. Making sure that we're not going to lean too far over and come off the chair. If you want to think about your breath here, breathing in as you reach up and out as you fold over. So breathing in and out. In and out. Lovely. Two more here. And then we're going to deepen that stretch a little bit further. We're starting on the first side, sweeping arm all the way out, breathing in. And then breathing out and folding over. And just see if we can take a moment here. 2 or 3 rounds of breath, deepen through that stretch. And you should feel it traveling all the way down the side of the body. If you're not feeling it in the side of the body, it might be because you're bringing the chest down. So try and keep the chest open to the front. And take that nice side bend. And then after a couple of breaths there, swapping sides, big deep breath in, sitting tall, reaching up, and then breathing out and folding over. And breathing here. Excellent. And then coming all the way back up, nice and tall and straight. And then from here, we're going to just warm up through the back a little bit by taking some seated cat and cow. So pushing the chest through the arms, bringing the chest forwards, arching the back into cow pose, and just looking slightly up ahead of you on a diagonal. And then coming back in the opposite direction. So putting the belly button in towards the spine, rounding the back, dropping the chin down towards the chest in cat pose. And keeping that moving. So let's go through cow, breathing in, and cat, breathing out. Cow, breathing in, and cat, breathing out. And cow, breathing in, and cat, breathing out. 4 more here. Cow, breathing in, cat, breathing out. Cow, breathing in. Last one, cat, breathing out. And then coming back up to seated. Excellent, well done. And then just taking a few hip circles just to warm up through the hips. So lifting one knee up towards the chest, taking hold either in the front of the shin or underneath the knee, and then sitting tall and taking that leg round in a circle, working into the hips in one direction. Trying to keep the rest of the body nice and still, so we're just focusing on the hips. Lovely. One more, and then changing direction. Excellent. And then swapping over, so taking the other leg, lifting up, taking hold under the knee or on top of the shin, and then taking those circles, keeping the other leg and the body nice and still sitting tall, keeping that lovely long upright spine. And then changing direction. Excellent. And then bringing the foot back to the floor. And then returning to the first side and just deepening the stretch into the hip here a little bit by bringing the leg on top if you can. Flexing the foot and letting the knee drop out to the side. And just taking a moment here to relax in that hip and allow the knee to drop out and down to the side. Breathing, sitting tall. And if you do want a little bit more here, you can start to lean forwards from the hips. So thinking about keeping that back nice and long here. So instead of curling down, which isn't going to stretch through the hip anymore, we're going to think about keeping the back nice and tall and then tipping forwards from the hips, keeping the back long. Okay, just going as far as you need to slightly deepen that stretch into the hip. And as you breathe, see if you can really focus on relaxing in the hip and allowing that leg to drop out to the side. If your knee is much higher and is up here, that's absolutely fine. Just take it as far as you can for your body. We all have different levels of flexibility, and in the hip joint particularly, it also depends on our anatomy. Some of us have got really deep hip sockets, and that can restrict how flexible we are in that joint. So it just depends on your body, your flexibility, your hip socket. Lovely. And then swapping sides, so taking the other leg, bringing it up on top, keeping that foot flexed so the toes are pointing forward. That just helps us to protect that knee joint. Starting just by sitting tall, relaxing into the hip and allowing the knee to drop out. Lovely big deep breaths, relaxing into the hip as we breathe out. And then if you do want a little bit more, tipping forwards from the hips, keeping the back nice and long, reaching up the top of the head the whole time. Excellent. And then releasing and bringing the legs down. Then we're just going to do a little warm up for the feet before standing up and starting our warm up with our legs. So making sure the feet are planted nicely on the floor, the ankles underneath the knees, feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to start with some gentle rises through the feet. So pressing through the feet, coming up onto the balls of the feet, and then all the way back down. And see if you can really focus on working all the way through the feet. So rather than just going straight up and down, see if you can really ease through the feet, working through the soles of the feet, the balls of the feet, and up into the toes. Okay, let's do 10 rises all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Excellent. And then leaving the feet flat on the floor. Actually, what we're going to do is do our arms first, because that's going to be staying seated. And then when we finish doing a bit of strength work with our arms, we're just going to stand to warm up the legs, ready for our sequence. So staying in your seats for now, we're going to move to our strength work. We're going to start without our weights for 2 of our exercises to begin with, just to get those arms nice and warm before we load on any weight. So keeping this lovely position, thinking about reaching up through the top of the head, and also just slightly engaging those tummy muscles as we start to move the limbs out from the center. So keeping the tummy in our minds, just to help protect our back. And one of the things that we can do is think about wrapping those tummy muscles around and zipping them up the front, just to help start to engage those tummy muscles. And then we're going to lift the arms out to the side at shoulder height and just start with some gentle circles. We're going to do this for 15 seconds and then take a little break before the next exercise. So going in one direction 15 seconds and then in the other. Here we go. Start circling backwards, little circles, not too big. Keep that going for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then changing direction forwards. Lovely. Keeping the arms up at shoulder height. Trying not to let the shoulders creep up towards the ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And then just relaxing the arms, giving them a little shake, starting to feel those muscles switching on. The next movement is going to be a backwards push. So bring the arms up to shoulder height again, and then turning the palms to face the back, thumbs pointing down. We're just going to pulse backwards, just a little way, not too far, just starting to work into the upper back as well here. Okay, so here we go. Ready? Pulsing backwards. We'll just do this for 30 seconds. Keep going. Now this one's really going to start to burn. So make sure we're breathing. Trying to keep those arms up at shoulder height. Great job, well done. Starting to feel it in the upper back. Keep those shoulders down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Give the arms a little shake. Excellent. Okay, the next one we're going to pick our weights up for. Okay, from here we're going to lift the arms again into that same position to begin with. Arms up at shoulder height, but this time we're turning the palms up towards the sky. And we're going to bring the hands in towards the shoulders, tap the shoulders, bring them out again, and then raise the arms overhead and tap the weights above the head. Back down, tap the shoulders, out, tap overhead, out. Okay, we'll do that for 30 seconds. Here we go. In and overhead. In and overhead. Keep going. Thinking about that lovely straight back, not letting ourselves slouch as things get a little bit difficult in the arms here. Do you start to feel that ache and that burn? See if you can concentrate on keeping that lovely posture, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Well done. Okay, next exercise is a little chest press. So this is going to start to work into the front of the body a little bit more. So taking the arms out to the side, and this time we're going to bend the elbows up and turn the palms so that the hands are facing in towards the body. And then we're going to bring the elbows together in front and tap the hands together at the front and then back out. So the hands will turn with the arms. You don't need to think about turning the hands here. As the arms come round, the hands will turn to close in front of the face as well. And here, I really want you to think about trying to keep those elbows up at shoulder height. Again, let's do 30 seconds. Take a breath, give the shoulders a wriggle. Here we go, getting ready and go. So starting to feel the chest working here as you bring the arms together. It's also going to be feeling this in the back and the arms. Keep going. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Well done. Drop the weights for a moment. Give the arms a little shake. We've got one more to go. Really good work, everybody. You should be feeling all of that warmth in the upper arms now, and the shoulders, a little bit across the chest and the back. Last one, picking those weights back up. We're going to do an extended arm crossover. So we're starting with the arms out at shoulder height again, and then we're crossing over in front, one arm on top, taking it out, and then crossing the other arm over. Okay, if you're really starting to feel that burn and it feels like it's a bit much, you can drop the weights, do it without, that's absolutely fine. Here we go. Crossing over and out, over and out. And try not to take those arms behind you as you bring them out to the side. You should still just be able to see the hands in your peripheral vision. Lovely. Keeping them up at shoulder height. I know it's a struggle now. Really focusing. Breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Popping those weights down. Okay. Or we can forget about the weights now. Just give the arms a little shake. Give the shoulders a little circle. And we'll just give them a little stretch now before we move on to the legs. So bringing one arm up and across the body and just stretching into the shoulder and the upper arm. Breathing here. And then releasing and swapping sides. Excellent. And then taking the arms in a big circle in front of you as if you're hugging the trunk of the tree. You can interlace the fingers here if you want to, if you find that helpful. And then like we did in our cat stretch, drawing the belly button back towards the spine, dropping the chin to the chest and feeling that lovely stretch across the top of the back and into the shoulders. Nice big deep breaths here as we stretch and then release. And then going in the opposite direction, so this time stretching through the chest and the front of the shoulders. Now you can either take the hands behind and just hold on to the back of the chair, open the chest forwards and stretch here, or if you want a little bit more, we can interlace the fingers behind the back, Press the hands down towards the bottom and stretch through the chest and the shoulders in the front of the body. Breathing here. Okay, well done. Gently releasing the arms, giving them a little shake. And now we're going to come up to standing. So just moving your chair to the side and have it with the back of the chair facing you. We're just going to leave it there for a minute while we start warming up our legs. We're just going to take a simple march, just getting the blood flowing into the legs, getting those muscles working. Again, 30 seconds, and then we'll take a break. So just marching on the spot, you can choose your pace. I don't mind, just getting those legs moving. Here we go. Marching on the spot. Try to get the arms involved as well. And see if you can lift those knees. Get the legs really working. Get the blood pumping. Warming up those leg muscles. Keep going. If you can go a little faster, go a little faster now. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just gently bring it back down to a walking pace before we stop. And then from here, we're going to turn to face our chair so that we've got something here to hold on to if we need to. Now, you can do this on by itself without holding onto the chair if you want to. If you want that little bit of stability to help with the balance here, then please feel free. We're just going to take some backward lunges here, just to really warm those legs up. In our sequence today, we're going to be taking our stretches and our poses a little bit deeper, so it's really good to get those legs nice and warm first. So from here, we're going to step one leg back and come into a nice, long, low lunge, and back again, and back, and up, okay? We're going to do it for 15 seconds on one leg, and then 15 seconds on the other leg. So here we go. Hold on to the chair if you need to, or hands on your hips, wherever you're comfortable. If not, here we go. 1. Really making sure that we're stepping back far enough to allow those knees to be in a comfortable position. You don't have to go so deep if you don't want to. And stop and swapping sides. Here we go, ready? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Excellent. Okay. Hopefully those legs are feeling really nice and warm there. A good exercise for the thighs, and also starting to work into the bottom as well, which sometimes we forget about when we're walking and moving around. Those bottom muscles are really important. So it's good to get those moving and warm as well. Okay, from here, you can switch your chair around. So you've got the seat of the chair facing you now. We can begin our sequence for today. So as always, making sure you've got plenty of space in front of the chair to work through the sequence, making sure the chair is in a position where it's not going to slide away from you if you put your weight on it. We're going to start just a little way back from the chair, feet hip distance apart. I'm going to take my feet a bit wider. So sort of from now on, really, there's going to be a few positions where I may have my feet wider, because, as you probably can tell, I've got a baby bump now. So I just need to make sure that I'm making space for that. But if you can keep your feet underneath your hips, I will let you know otherwise, but generally feet underneath the hips is the alignment that we want to aim for. So if you see me taking my feet wider, just ignore. Okay, so from here, coming into our lovely standing posture, the same as on our chair, thinking about lengthening up through the spine, drawing up through the top of the head. And then we're going to take a big deep breath, reach the arms all the way up overhead. And then breathing out and folding forwards, coming into a half fold on our chair. Lovely flat back, reaching out through the top of the head. And then with the next out breath, coming down to a full fold, just making sure we're being Soft in the knees here, so just a gentle bend. We're not locking the knees out, just a gentle bend in the knees, stretching down the back of the legs. That feels really nice after those marches and lunges. And then with the next in-breath, coming back up to your half fold. And breathing out here. And then stepping back into downward facing dog. So stepping the feet a bit further back and pressing the hips and the bottom back. Dropping the chest through the arms. Thinking about drawing the chest towards the legs. And stretching through the arms, spreading the fingers onto the seat of the chair. And just taking a few rounds of breath here. And if you want to, you can just drop the head and give it a little nod and a little shake just to help relax through the neck and the shoulders. Lovely. And then we're going to lift one foot and step that foot forwards towards the chair, and then lift the heel of the back foot, maybe step those toes back a little bit further to come into a lunge position. So this is a straight back leg, knee bent on the front leg, making sure those knees are tracking over the toes. And you can stay here with the hands on the chair, reaching through the head, trying to create a lovely straight line from the top of the head all the way to the back heel. Or pressing through the legs, we can come up and place the hands together at the chest. Then from here, if you're standing, I want you to have a go at opening to the side. So taking the same hand as the leg that is in front, reaching forwards, and then taking that arm out to the side, opening the chest towards the front leg, and bringing that hand back behind you as far as you can, taking the gaze with you. If you're staying on your chair for this pose, you can do exactly the same from here, opening towards the front leg with the other hand on the chair. Up to you. Taking a couple of breaths here, really seeing if we can deepen into the stretch. Push into that back heel and balance. And after 2 or 3 lovely big deep breaths, coming back to the front and then dropping the back heel and bringing the toes to 45 degrees to come into warrior one. So from here, sweeping arms all the way up, breathing in as you reach up and breathing out and sinking down. Again, we can do this with the hands on the chair, just keeping that focus on the lovely alignment from the top of the head down to the back heel. So we're not slouching over the leg. Pressing through the legs if you're coming up into the full warrior one. Breathing into the pose, seeing if we can deepen a little bit further. Keep that breath flowing in and out. And then with the next in-breath, we're going to open to warrior two. So turning those back toes so that they are now parallel with the back of the mat. Turning the hips and the chest to face the front, deepening into that front leg. Keeping the arms up at shoulder height. Breathing here. 2 or 3 lovely big deep breaths. See if we can sink a little bit lower. Excellent. And then from here, we're going to sweep the arm down, twist the body and come back to warrior one. So turning that back foot to 45 degrees, bringing the hips to face the chair, and either keeping the hands on the chair or sweeping the arms up to warrior one. 2 or 3 more breaths here, seeing if we can deepen even further this time. Remembering that if you're finding it difficult to bring the hips to the front, you can take that front foot out a little wider, just to make some space for the hips. And then from here, we're going to bring our weight forwards towards the chair. Now you can use the chair for support here, or you can have a go at doing this without the chair. And we're just going to release that back foot and walk it in towards the front foot, bringing all of the weight onto that front leg. So you can walk it in, or you can have a go at lifting it straight off the floor and taking all the weight onto the front leg. Just make sure that you're not going to hit the chair with your front knee. And then from here, wherever you are, you can either take hold of the back of the chair for support. And again, thinking about lifting through the head and creating that lovely straight line all the way down the body to the back foot. Or if you want to, you can take one hand down, reaching towards the back heel, or two hands down. And then if you want a little bit more, we can think about starting to bring the chest down and the leg up into warrior three, keeping the hips facing down towards the ground the whole time. Finding a spot in front of you to focus on, using the chair for support if you want or need. Keeping a very gentle bend in that front leg. Aiming for a nice straight line wherever you are, whichever angle you're at, seeing if we can keep everything in alignment. Excellent, well done. And then stepping that back foot all the way back into our warrior one. Breathing in and reaching up. Last time in this pose on this leg. Seeing if we can take it a little bit deeper. And then bringing the hands back to the chair. Stepping the front foot back to join the back foot. Turning the toes forwards and coming into our downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to enjoy this more relaxing pose. Breathing, sinking the chest towards the thighs. And then walking the feet forwards. Come to your flat back position, breathing in. Breathing out, sinking down to a full fold, wherever that is for you. Breathing in and coming back to a half fold. And breathing out here. And then with your next in-breath, softening the knees and rolling all the way up to standing, shoulders away from the ears. Breathing out and bringing the hands down the middle. Okay, excellent. So we're going to do that all again on the other side. So just take a moment to think about which leg you stepped forwards with into your forward lunge. And this time you're going to use the other leg. Okay, so starting with your feet hip distance apart, standing tall, just readjusting that posture. And then taking a big deep breath in and reaching up. Breathing out, folding forwards and bringing the hands to the chair and into your flat back position. Breathing in. Breathing out as we fold down to a full fold, soft bend in the knees. Breathing in and coming back to the half fold, lengthening through the spine. And breathing out here. And then stepping the legs back. And coming into your downward facing dog pose, pushing the bottom and the hips backwards, stretching through the arms, pressing into the chair with the palms of the hands, drawing the chest down towards the thighs, relaxing through the head and the neck. 2 or 3 lovely big deep breaths here. Before stepping forwards with your other leg this time. So bending the knee, bringing it in towards the chest, and then stepping the foot forwards. Lifting the heel of the back foot, stepping the toes back a little way if you want to, and then pressing into the chair, lifting the chest, and coming into that lovely alignment. Nice straight line all the way from the top of the head down to the back heel. And you can stay here, or you can press strong through the legs to lift the body and come up with the hands at the chest. Breathing here. And then wherever you are, whether you're up here or down in the chair, releasing the same arm as leg and opening round to the side towards that front leg. Opening across the chest, keeping your arm at shoulder height and taking the head with you to look towards that back hand. Again, 2 or 3 lovely big breaths here before bringing that hand all the way back to the front and adjusting so that we can come into warrior one. So taking the hands to the chair if you need to, dropping the back heel, turning the toes to 45 degrees. And again, you can stay here, pressing through the legs, lifting the chest, or we can sweep the arms all the way up, bring the body up and sink down into warrior one. Making sure those shoulders are dropping away from the ears. Keeping the hips facing towards the chair. If you're struggling with that, just taking that stance a little bit wider to allow the hips to keep facing forwards. And then from here, after 2 or 3 lovely big deep breaths, we're moving into warrior two. So turning the back toes out so that the back foot is now parallel with the back of the mat. Opening the arms wide at shoulder height, opening the hips and the chest to the side. And holding here for 2 or 3 big deep breaths. Feeling the strength in the legs. Seeing if we can deepen and soften into the pose a little bit further. Excellent. And then sweeping the arm down past the back leg and coming back to your warrior one again. If you want to take the chair, you can adjust the back foot to 45 degrees or sweep straight up, arms overhead. Seeing if we can get a little bit deeper in this pose. Excellent. And then from here, we're going to begin to shift that weight forwards. Bringing the hands to the chair if you need to, and stepping or just lifting the back foot to allow the weight to shift into that front foot. Keeping the hips facing down towards the chair, using the back of the chair for support here if you want to, and thinking about creating that lovely straight line from the head all the way down to the back foot. And then if you want to, you can start to tip the chest down and lift the leg up, using the chair for support if you want to, or releasing the arms and reaching the hands back towards the foot. Up to you. If you find that you're a bit close to the chair and you're going to hit your head on the chair, just take a moment to shift a little bit further away to allow yourself to bring the chest and the head down in one piece. Okay, and if, like me, you're quite tight on one side, you might find that you're starting to rotate. So really focus on bringing those hips down towards the floor. Excellent. And then stepping all the way back, returning to warrior one more time. Using the chair, and sweeping the arms up. Can you get a little bit deeper? If you notice that you are starting to sink a bit lower, but those toes are disappearing out of sight on the front foot, and just open your stance a little bit more. Wiggle that foot forwards, and then you'll find you can take that bend a bit deeper in the knee without compromising the safety of the knee there. Excellent. And then bringing the hands back to the chair, stepping that front foot all the way back, coming into downward facing dog, and taking a few lovely big deep breaths here as we stretch and relax into this pose. So although this is a nice stretch down the back of the legs and into the glutes, and we are lengthening and stretching through the spine, this should also be a nice relaxing pose. So see if you can use that breath to really help you relax into it. Using the support of the chair here to really press your hands Excellent. And then walking those feet towards the chair, coming back into our lovely flat back half fold. And then with the next out breath, fold all the way down to a full fold, wherever that is for you. Just thinking about reaching towards the floor. Gentle bend in the knees. Coming back up to your half fold with the next in breath. Breathing out. And then with the last in breath, gently sweeping all the way back up to standing, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky, shoulders down away from the ears, and then breathing out and bringing the hands down the middle. Excellent, well done. Okay, so that's it for our sequence. We're just going to spend a little bit of time now just stretching out those legs a little bit more before coming into our relaxation. So I'm just going to turn my chair so you can see me a little better. Coming back onto your chair, we're just going to take some gentle forward stretches with the legs. So just sliding one leg away from you, reaching up through the arms, and then reaching forwards towards that toe. Keep the toe pointing up towards the ceiling. Just stretching through the back of the leg here, one at a time. Excellent. And coming all the way back up, swapping legs, reaching up, shoulders down away from the ears, breathing out and folding forwards. Keeping those toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then coming all the way back up. And we're just going to take the hip stretch we did earlier again. So lifting the leg up on top, flexing the foot, letting the knee drop out towards the side. And then this time, we're going to see if we can focus not just into the hip here, but also into the glutes. So taking that forwards tip towards that top leg should also bring that stretch into the bottom. You might find that if you come over the supporting leg a little bit more, it really brings that stretch down through the glutes. So just off center towards the supporting leg, the leg that's on the floor, just to bring that stretch into those bottom muscles that have been working really hard to keep us standing strong in those poses. Lovely. And then gently coming out and swapping sides. Keeping that top foot flexed, knee out, relaxing into the hip, breathing here, and then folding forwards. And again, bringing that forward fold off center slightly over towards the supporting leg, the leg that's on the floor, just to bring that stretch round into the glutes a little bit more. You might notice that one side is tighter than the other. So see if you have got one side that's quite tight compared to the other, just see if you can spend a little bit longer on that side. Breathe a bit deeper. Relax a little bit more. Lovely. And coming out. Okay, excellent. So from here, we're just going to take a few gentle salutations just to bring our heart rates back down after that sequence. So although we weren't moving particularly quickly, because we were holding those poses for a little bit longer, our muscles were really starting to work, and that can help to raise that heart rate and really get the blood pumping. So even though it wasn't impact, it wasn't dynamic, it was still raising that heart rate, getting us warm, making us a bit sweaty. So it's really important before we do our relaxation, just to bring that heart rate back down. So we're going to take a few gentle salutations here, coming into your lovely upright posture first, reaching the head up towards the sky. Big deep breath in, reaching up. Breathing out and folding forwards. Coming into a half fold, so your head's reaching out on a diagonal as you breathe in, breathing out, rolling down, breathing in, reaching all the way back up. Breathing out, hands down the middle. To go again, breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, folding forwards. Breathing in, coming to a half raise with the back. Breathing out, folding forwards again. Breathing in, reaching all the way up. Breathing out, hands down the middle. One more time. Big deep breath in, reaching all the way up. Breathing out, folding forwards. Breathing in, coming halfway up. Breathing out, folding forwards. Breathing in, reaching all the way up. Then breathing out. And bringing the hands down the middle. Excellent. And then just shifting the bottom backwards on the chair so that we can take a more relaxed position. So although we are going to now use that backrest to take a little bit of the weight and pressure off, I don't want you to just completely slouch back into the chair. See if we can keep the focus on drawing up through the spine, keeping the shoulders back and down, and just using that backrest for support. And then from here, if you want to pop a warm layer on, then please do make sure you're keeping warm as we begin relaxing through the body. So if you want to here, I invite you to close your eyes. And we're going to start to work our way up the body, curling the toes in towards the soles of the feet, scrunching the feet up, squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the feet flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the legs, hugging the muscles of the legs tight to the bones, squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the legs flow down and away into the ground. And then relaxing your arms by your sides, curling your fingers into the palms of your hands, squeezing your hands into fists. Squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the hands flow down and away into the ground. And then squeezing the muscles of the arms tight to their bones. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the arms flow down and away into the ground. And then shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears. Squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the shoulders flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the face, squeezing the eyes shut, scrunching the nose up, pressing the lips together. Squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the face flow down and away into the ground. And then just gently bringing the hands up towards the face. I'm just going to take finger on each hand and run the finger up the center of the forehead and then across the forehead and down, just releasing any tension in the forehead. So running the fingers up, across and down. Thinking about brushing that tension down the side of the face towards the floor, letting it go. Keep that going for a few more strokes across the forehead. And then with the next one, as the fingers come towards the temples, just taking a gentle circle at the temples with the pads of your fingers in one direction and then circling in the other direction. And then bringing one hand down across the body to the opposite shoulder and just taking a few gentle squeezes into that opposite shoulder, noticing any knots any tight spots, and just gently squeezing your fingers into those tight bits, remembering to breathe and release. And then swapping sides, the other hand crossing the body to the opposite shoulder, squeezing along the shoulder, working from the neck down towards the arm, noticing any tight spots, any crunchy bits, any knots, and just seeing if you can work your fingers gently into those areas, giving yourself a lovely little massage. And then just bringing your hand into your lap, taking one hand and just running the thumb across the palm from the wrist down towards the fingers. Just giving yourself a gentle little hand massage, working from one edge of the hand across the center to the other side. And then swapping sides, so taking the other hand and running the thumb across the palm of the hand from the wrist down to the fingers, working from one edge left over to right, and right to left. And then releasing those hands and just allowing them to drop down by your side. And then bringing your focus to your breath and noticing the rise and the fall of your chest, the air flowing in and out. And then returning to those lovely deep breaths that we did at the beginning of the session. We're going to take a big deep breath in through the nose, breathing in, sitting tall, filling the lungs with air, and then breathing out, out, out through the mouth, nice and slow and controlled. And again, a big deep breath in through the nose, all the way to the bottom of the lungs. And breathing out through the mouth, slow, controlled out breath. One more time, big deep breath in through the nose, all the way to the bottom of the lungs. See if you can make this the deepest breath yet. And then breathing out through the mouth, slow, controlled out breath, relaxing and releasing all the way to the end. And then just allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And just taking a moment to check back in with your body. So at the beginning of the session, we took a moment to see how we were feeling, any aches or pains, what our physical energy levels were like, whether we were feeling physically tired or whether we had quite a lot of energy in the body. Just take a moment to check in and see how you're feeling now. So hopefully, and this might not happen straight away, but after a bit of practice and a bit of time, hopefully a yoga session will leave you feeling a little more relaxed, but also energized. It's a really lovely combination. We've got the body moving, we've got the blood pumping, we've taken some really healthy deep breaths. But we've also given our body a chance to restore and to rest and relax. And then taking your attention to your mind and just noticing how you're feeling now, whether your mind is still racing or if it's feeling a little calmer. And if you are still needing a little something just to help the mind relax and bring that focus to the breath. And as you breathe out, With each breath, just imagine that you're breathing out those busy thoughts buzzing around your head. And they're just forming a little cloud in front of you, collecting all of those thoughts and feelings together. And I just want you to imagine scooping that cloud up into a jar, gently closing the lid, and just hugging that jar to your chest, realizing that all of those thoughts and feelings are precious, important, valid, but that sometimes our brain just needs a little break. We're just taking a moment here to spend with the mind calm and the body still. And then just beginning to wake the body up again by giving the toes a wiggle, giving the fingers a wiggle, stretching the legs away from you, reaching the arms up overhead, taking a yawn here if you need to. And then just wrapping the arms around you and giving the back a little stretch, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, dropping the chin towards the chest. And then opening again, breathing in, and switching the arms over. So you've got the other arm on top, big hug. And then releasing. And then sitting tall. And taking one last big deep breath in, reaching all the way up. Shoulders away from the ears, and breathing out. And bringing the hands down the middle. Okay, thank you very much for joining me again today. I hope you enjoyed the session.